Hello, everybody. I'm House, and welcome back to the Cosmic PvP Factions with Darsnot, or my brother. Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Okay, that's better. And today, we are becoming sleuths in our own investigation. I had a door right here. And this is actually the first video you guys have seen of the inside of the new base. But I used to have carpet here with a door, because this is where the iron comes in, from the IGs up top. Somebody blew down me door, and yet took nothing. I didn't even see any iron gone. They simply blew it down, unless they took the iron, and it simply regenerated overnight while I was sleeping. So, me and Richard are going to find the culprits and see if they confess whenever they come online, if any of them do. Are you ready for this task, Richard?
Yes.
Now, so we need to figure out who did it. First, we start out with the culprits. Besides me and Richard, since we can already get through the door, we have
Yes.
6 other
We don't
candidates.
technically have to blow it down first.
Yes. We have 6 other candidates. You might be wondering why there's only 5 people that are not online besides me and Richard. That's because Wyatt is also a culprit, because he was in the faction at the time. So,
And
Wyatt.
apparently he was in here whilst it was happening.
Really? This is new information. What
Did you
he
not
have to
see
say?
his chat? Look in the chat.
In what chat?
He said, I'm telling you, it was the PvP guy. I could not kick him because I didn't have mod.
He tried to convince me of that. We were texting at the time while I was at work, and he tried convincing me it was Makino PvP.
Even though
But
the guy
first-
only has like $1,000.
That will come later, but a little bit of background behind all these people. Wyatt, you already know. I play games with him all the time. He was in the faction last season by the end of it. Now, Delesis, Del, as he would like to be called. Him, where did we meet Delesis? I do not recall, come to think of it. I believe...
He's the one that was
Delesis.
just in chat asking if he could join a faction.
Yes, but when I met him, he had gotten randomly teleported to somebody and killed. So I helped him out and gave him some armor and let him into the faction. That's all I know about him. But he seemed like a pretty cool guy, and he was still new to factions. I literally had to teach him everything. And before you guys start saying he may be an insider, let me rephrase what I said. I talked to him. He did not message me.
And
So, yes.
hold on, he
We'll go.
has not been on for 4 days.
Not been on for 4 days. Good information. Our second culprit, or third, Makino PvP. He was in the faction also last season by the end of it, and I refer to this a lot. If you guys go back and watch the last season, you probably won't see him because that was before I was able to actually play factions well enough, the internet well enough to play it. But he was a pretty cool guy, and nothing suspicious about him. Now, Saucy AF and Wizzy Plays were people that responded to my video asking if there was anybody wanting to join my faction. So them two I'm not really concerned about because Richard has only seen the one guy, Saucy, I believe it was, or Wizzy.
No, Saucy was on 11 days ago.
11 days ago. How long ago was Wizzy on?
15 days.
15 days. Them two
It wasn't
are
either of them.
eliminated, along with Delesis. Now we know Makino PvP was on, though. Now,
Makino was on 17 hours ago.
which is perfectly within the time limit. Steel Houdini 02. This guy
Has-
actually messaged me, but a little more into the story. He messaged me saying that he doesn't play factions as much anymore and wanted to give me some stuff. That stuff including one blaze grinder, one iron golem, by the end of it about a chest full of dust, along with G-kits and all of that kind of good stuff, equaling the same amount that he would be able to get out of us raiding. That's how much stuff he gave me. And yes, by the end of it, he did ask to join the faction. I did not instigate it. But when was the last time Steel Houdini
4
was on,
hours.
Richard? 4 hours ago.
But before that, it was 36 hours.
Okay. He does not fit within the time limit because 4 hours ago, I already knew that the door was blown down. And then 36 hours ago, you said, or 17? What was it?
It was 36 hours before that, and it's been 4 hours since he's been on recently.
So it was not Steel Houdini.
No. Plus, he is a very nice guy.
He really is. I actually sat playing Pokemon or Pokefind on the Pokefind server with him for like 30, 45 minutes. And so that brings us to another question. How much do these guys actually have? Because I do know that sometimes the last login does not actually fit very well. Because yes, Richard, although Steel Houdini could have technically been on 36 hours ago, that was his last log in.
Right.
It doesn't say when he logged out. Not saying that it was him. I don't think it was him. So that leaves, in my mind, two culprits. Makino and Wyatt.
Which Makino has a balance of $65.
Yes. So unless he gave himself a note, he actually had that same exact amount when he first joined the faction last night. So nothing there. I do know he was on that night, but who knows what he might have been doing. So that leaves one person in mind now that we've
and
everybody else.
His computer crashed twice.
Yes. It crashed twice while he was on, so I doubt he would be able to stay on long enough to get this done. So that leaves one culprit, and this is the person I think did it. Wyatt. And I've been saying this the whole time, and he says he did not do it. But I do know he was very upset. When he joined the faction, he gave me one IG, which is perfectly fine. He wanted to join and help. He also wanted mod, which I said no to immediately because although Wyatt is one of my best friends, I do not trust him with mod controls in my faction. Same reason why I do not trust Brent now. They simply do not care what is other people's. Now, that brings us to another point. He is the only person with the funds able to buy a creeper egg. And I know what you might be asking, how do you know it was a creeper egg? Well, it obviously was a creeper egg. If you do not play factions, you would not know this. Any person that plays factions knows this is from a creeper explosion. Because I have all this
even
land.
If you only play vanilla.
Yes. I have all this land claimed by an owner, me and Richard here, Darsnot. We are the only two people that can place or edit blocks in this area. The only exception being these doors, because that is a grinder. It is a public grinder. I wanted to make sure everybody could use it.
I thought you locked the doors.
Yes, but I made it to where other people could get it on. Not the point right now. But, so they could not place TNT, and that is the only thing that would do this kind of damage. It blew down the ladders. It blew down the door with the secondary gate, along with all the carpet. It was obviously a creeper explosion. Now, with that new information in mind, we know that it was more than likely Wyatt. Have I now convinced you, Richard?
Unless Makino somehow had a creeper egg already Yes.
This is
It
very
would have to be
possible
Wyatt.
because I actually have a few creeper eggs. Not many. I don't know where they are right now. They may be with the other account. But
Well,
I
your
do have a
PVs
few.
are all screwed up.
I don't actually even have a lot in here anymore. Not the point, once again. Not the point.
Mr. Hot and Spicy.
But I
I
do
am
know that you can
Trollololo.
do that. So, what does this mean? It means it was either Makino or Wyatt. I think it was Wyatt. Makino does not seem like the guy to do that, nor does he have the equipment able to handle that, apparently.
Well, if he didn't have any armor.
And another thing, though, the money. I could see if he were to take some of this out, he would obviously sell it. And I know,
He
you
did
can
not.
take out money into a cosmic note. I do know this. But how did it end up being the exact same amount that it was when he first came in? And why would he do this anyways? Because, although this wasn't open at the time, there is this chest that also makes the iron. Occasionally they fall down here.
And you're missing a subject.
What?
Somebody came in here and broken all the sheep and cow spawners.
That is another thing. I was not very concerned about it because I personally do not care for the sheep and cow spawners.
But can they break them even with the owner setting?
Technically, yes, with creepers.
Oh. Okay. So that could have been Wyatt, too. Because
It could have been.
Makino doesn't have any kind of rank, I don't think.
Exactly. But Wyatt does.
So, yes.
And that brings us to another point on how it points to Wyatt. And I know you guys might be thinking, why are you pointing towards Wyatt so much? Because he makes the only logical sense. Wyatt,
and he left the faction last night.
Exactly. Claiming that he left stuff at the other faction. But another point to it is that Wyatt has always been the person that will do anything to get some extra money. Blowing down the door to get to the iron, stealing up some of the spawners to sell for a couple of K. That is what Wyatt does 90% of the time when he needs money. Am I wrong, Richard? You've
I
known
did
Wyatt
not know
for a
that.
while. And if you guys watch last season...
And just so you all know, if I ask questions, I just started playing this game. Like
Yes.
what? A week ago? 2 weeks ago?
I think it was about 2 weeks ago. But I'm not so much concerned about this. And although technically, yes, more money was lost here than with the IAG, since they are still up there. Both of them are still up there.
Yes.
I'm more concerned about that than I am the spawners. These are cheap. I can get them for 5K easy if all I have to do is go into chat and ask for them. Easy.
Well, I've already got more sheep.
I know. This is what I'm concerned about here. And so what we are probably going to do is seal up this hole to where the only way in is through a warp, a faction warp that I have set up that only me and Richard know the password. That is probably what we are going to do. Now, I did say we would punish the culprit, but I believe there's not much we can do against Wyatt.
Unless we find him in the wild and kill him and take all his stuff.
Except for, I am so confident it is Wyatt, I'm going to put a bounty on his head. 150,000. There. There's now a $150,000 bounty on Wyatt's head. First one to bring me his head. And I'll even put this in the public chat. Hold on. If you bring me Wyatt's head, you get another 100K. Okay. So if you guys, probably by the time you watch this, he has already been killed and murdered
will be placed on the wall.
right next to the other one where I killed him last. Isn't he
I think
cute?
we'll just keep going down the wall.
Yes. He hasn't said anything quite yet. The M House is the next PewDiePie. Thank you. Puerto Rico wishes to be your truce. Type F. Yeah, sure. /F. Truce. Puerto Rico. Did I spell that right? I spelled it right. The faction is now truced to Puerto Rico. That will be the end. And Richard, please do the honors and seal the doorway forever so that this occurrence will never happen again. Yes. The accused has now been dealt with thoroughly. Good going, Richard. So, with all that said and done, thank you for watching this video. If you would like to check out some more of the factions, click the little link at the end card that will show up here in a second. And although Richard does not have a YouTube himself, if you would like to see videos that we have made, you can go to Diggins Dickheads. That will be also in a link at the end. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Adios.
There is fear of the unknown, but we cannot lose control when we feel like the world is against us. We're trying to find ourselves without the defining words. We can no longer hold on to what